How do we tell the stories of all of the hundreds of people who were enslaved here? Where do we give their stories space? We started the Mountaintop Project in 2014. So it took us about 5 years to get all of the work done, all of the research we've been doing for decades.
The Thomas Jefferson Foundation has made a committed effort to researching the stories of the enslaved families at Monticello. The very last and toughest challenge was, how do we convey the life of one of the most famous African-American women in history, Sally Hemings?
For the Life of Sally Hemings exhibition, GSM's mandate was really to design a multimedia experience inside the space that she actually lived in. Leslie Bowman, the director of the museum, would often say that we were working on the smallest, biggest space in the US right now.
Every choice you make has huge impact. You have only that much space. And so we decided to do something much more innovative, much more immersive, much more emotional, and yet completely adhering to the factual aspects of her life.
We don't have any words from Sally Hemings herself. And so that's the closest we could get to is her son.
When we limited GSM only to the words of Madison Hemings, they did something brilliant. They found the poetry.
I spoke the words out loud. I broke it up into stanzas to really get at the heart of the story and at the heart of his relationship with his mother.
We consulted with descendants of the families who were enslaved here at Monticello, and so they were able to respond to things like the color, the animation, the narrative even, of how we used Madison Hemings' words as poetry.
We worked from an object theater perspective, which means mixing multimedia with actual objects. So really using different kind of means and emotional storytelling to be able to communicate the essence of the Sally Hemings story.
GSM was really critical in showing us the ways that we could articulate Sally Hemings' story in a way that had a lot more emotional impact.
They really understood that the magic can happen when the content and the designer are really working together.
The exhibit did a really good job of portraying her reality through the voice of her child, her descendant, and I think that was a really beautiful way of portraying the closest thing to her own reality. I'm really pleased. I'm really, really pleased.
That level of respect and sobriety that we brought, I think visitors feel it, and we've left them space to connect with their own emotions when they're in the space. So it's not every day that we get to work on something so significant.
Having the sound and seeing the movement in the exhibit was really powerful, and it made me feel like we had done Sally Hemings' story justice.
This is storytelling. This is really gripping people's hearts and minds with a human being and her story. There's no way I could have anticipated that much power.